Welcome to our refuge from the icy conditions. I'm Meeka Nomicon, and remember, roses have thorns. The snow fell from the sky like elegant white ballerinas, while its icy touch caressed my skin. I couldn't remember the last time I had been so high up in the Forbidden Alps, or the last time I just rested alongside a tree and appreciated the breathtaking views of the mountains. I used to bring my sketchbook along to study the wildlife, failing miserable to capture their beauty, or sipping on some nice warm tea and relaxed in the embrace of my thick woolen coats. Wait, you used to bring your sketchbook outside? In the blizzards? How the hell had you not lost your hands to frostbite? My nails are going blue just thinking about it. It all seems like a dream now, a dream that is becoming fainter and fainter as the years tread on. I couldn't have stopped then, not when I had too much to lose, too many people to please, and too many things to see before my early grave. Despite how clear and majestic the snow looked, it had the ability to kill, and I did not want to become its next victim. Not yet, at least. I can't decide if being frozen to death would be a pleasant way of going. I don't survive well in the cold, so probably not for me at least. Also, if I want to die, I want to get sacrificed to Cthulhu. I've decided. I need a cool death. The mountains seemed to have stretched on for thousands of miles, inhabiting the same old trees, rocks, and the occasional skittish rabbit. It had been so long since I'd seen anything that wasn't covered in a heap of cold snow and ice. I wondered how my family was faring. Had they fully recovered from their wounds inflicted by the devilish forest fire? Or had they succumbed to them like mournful sinners? The thought of it sent a chill down my already frozen spine. How do you reckon we got separated from our family then? Maybe it was the forest fire. We ran into the mountains to escape it. I used to live such a conventional and quaint life in my peaceful little village, where the most eventful thing that ever happened was a street rat stealing the smallest piece of bread from Mr. Field's bakery, where all your best friends were people I've known since birth, because there was only one school in the entire village, with the closest neighbour felt like billions of miles away that you'd probably never get to visit. My world was simple, yet peaceful, but everything is just so different now. Being one of the only young healthy adults that didn't die or become wounded as a result from that wretched fire, it became my responsibility to seek out aid from neighbouring villages. And my nice simple world unravelled before my very eyes. Ah, that explains what we're doing in the mountains now. It made me realise that I truly didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, that my life was on the same level as a random squirrel or rabbit. Death truly doesn't judge, and I have avoided him for so long that I feel as though my time could run out at any given moment. So, I better use it sparingly. The snow falling from the sky was that once calming and considerate, now a war of violent outbursts and icy thrill. It started coming down so hard to the point that all I could see before me was pure white. A blizzard was afoot, and I had nowhere to call home. My layers of thick clothes were proved worthless by the sharp winds, and my face and hands felt as though they were about to fall off from frostbite. Was this really how I would all end? My heroic journey of saving my sweet village ending with me being another unfortunate soul claimed by the Alps? How pathetic of me! A little snow and ice and I'm already crumbling under my own weight. Perhaps death has finally lost patience for our little game and wants to claim its prize. At least one of us should get what they want. But then I saw it, a bright yellow light in the distance, like a guardian angel that felt so far away, yet you knew they were there, watching over you. Do you reckon in the middle of a blizzard it would have like the same effect as being in the middle of the desert? So you'd just start having mirages and imagining like lights in the distance. 'Cause it'd be into the same harsh conditions, right? Where there's a light, there's a house, a refuge from the storm. Perhaps death will not get his way today after all. Despite my frozen body being on the verge of shattering into a million pieces, I braved on towards the distant light, hoping that the angel continued waiting for me. So close. So close. I can't give up on them. They are waiting for me. My friends, my family, all of them. I'm tired of my life being nothing more than an insignificant plaything for the gods above. I will save them, even if it kills me. Just don't kill me yet. Almost. There. You know, it'd be rather unfortunate if we quite literally died on the doorstep of the house. Can we at least knock before we die? Ah! What happened? Oh, fire! Fire is always a good thing. Except the forest fire, that's not so good. Beside me sat a brewing fire. The sight of its magnificent flames dancing around in their warm red aura assured me that I was safe from the storm outside. It also, however, puzzled me as I sat in a large comfortable chair, covered with what appeared to be an animal fur blanket. As I looked around my strange new location, I realized that I was in a chateau, for it had tall grey walls of stone and a ceiling as high as the heavens, with intricate stained glass windows. Whoever lives here must have quite the pretty penny. It's bigger than all the houses in my village combined. As much as I'd hate to unravel this wonderful blanket, I must figure out where I am at once, and perhaps thank my saviour while I'm at it. As I stood up from the chair, a sudden spear of pain jolted my arms and legs, sending a quiet yet anguished yelp from my lips. The frostbite must have had a feast on my body. With a limping leg and a shivering hand, I invited myself into the long hallway of the shadow. It was so long that it would have taken me days to find the bathroom in this place. But it still didn't give me any answers to where I was and who this place belonged to. Nice windows, though. Very intricate. So dark in here. Would it kill them to put up a few candles? Well, to be fair, if I lived in this place alone, I probably couldn't be bothered to go around into all the hallways to light the candles. I just carry one candle around with me to the room I'm currently in. This place is so massive, yet it feels so small at the same time. I can't imagine anyone calling this place a home. Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Gosh, where is everyone? We have a cat? Oh, you're absolutely adorable. And you get bonus points for being an adorable black cat. Aww. Well, aren't you just the cutest little thing I've ever seen? May I pet you, precious? Meow. I know they say black cats bring bad luck, but who can say that when you have a precious face like that? You deserve all of the scritches. And you're just a little kitten. Where's your mama? Meow. I'm afraid I don't really speak, cat. I think she wants me to follow her. You know what? We follow the kitten, even if it means following her to our death. Hey, wait up! Oh, I wasn't expecting you to leave me back outside. Bad kitten. My oh my, that little thing is quite fast. Where did she get to? Oh, wow. Within the centre of the outside courtyard rests a beautiful rose garden. Its brilliant red colours and delectable aroma flooded my senses, all memory of my previous mission fading away. There was something so charming, yet secretive about the garden. like it had many stories it wanted to tell me, and I wanted to hear every single one. I don't know what got over me, but I felt the sudden urge to pick one of the roses, and I slowly walked closer. Well, this seems like a very bad idea. I'm predicting now we're going to pick it, we're going to pick our finger, and we're going to bleed on something and probably curse ourselves. Either that or we'll start bleeding and attract all the vampires. Reaching down cautiously, my fingers intertwined with the strong stem of the nearby rose, until the familiar feeling of pain had returned to my fingers. Ouch! Damn it! Thorns! Crimson escaped from the skin on my fingers, and I scrambled, trying to find something to stop the bleeding. Little did I know that the simple act of picking a flower would change my life. Forever. It's quiet. Too quiet. If there's anything that being out in the wild for the last few months have taught me, it's that when it's quiet, there's something out there that doesn't want to be seen. And if something doesn't want to be seen, it's hiding from a predator. Or it is the predator. Oh, and there it is. Or it is the predator. Let me guess, it's going to be the cat that emerges from the bush. Ah! Over there, in the bushes! What horrendous creature will I find here? What did I tell us? I can predict everything. I am clairvoyant. Meow! Oh, it's just you, Precious. A little hunter you are, I see. I'm freezing. Let's get back inside. Ah! For a brief second, my eyes shook with shock. I had walked into something tall and strong. A wall, perhaps? Yes, just, a rather fleshy one, I reckon. But instead of feeling the aching sensation of a pricked finger or frozen limbs that I had gotten so used to feeling, all I felt in that moment was a tender embrace. An embrace that was so soft that it felt as though I was the one comforting them instead of the other way around. Hey, what's going on? Forgive me. I did not mean to startle you. I see that you are admiring my roses. They are quite a sight, aren't they? Yeah, they are indeed quite a sight, and what very pointy ears you have, sir. Don't mean to be forward, but I dare you to show me your teeth. Before me stood a tall, handsome man. His skin as pale as ice, yet his eyes were warm. He had long, well-kept hair, similar to that of a nobleman, and strange, pointy ears. Was he the owner of this chateau? Yeah, they are. Who are you? Oh my, where did my manners run off to? My name is Lord Victor Oscar Lazarus the Third, but you can just call me Victor. The man stared at me with a curious smile, as if he awaited something. There was a certain longing in his eyes, as if he hoped the second his name fell from his lips that I would have given him some sort of reaction. But once he realized that wasn't the case, his guard dropped only for a mere moment, and I caught a glimpse of his soulful expression before turning to a simple smile. Huh. Does he know us? Or maybe a past reincarnation of us? And you? I wish to know the name of my new companion. Yep, there they are. I see the fangs. What a cute little vampire you are. What is your name? I shall always be Meek. It's Meek. A beautiful name for a beautiful girl. Wow. The cat's eyes brightened when she noticed who I was and playfully walked between my legs, meowing for more pets. I see you've already been acquainted with my pet, Amorous. A pet, huh? I'm guessing you're the owner of this place. I'd love to meet your family. Family? Unfortunately not. Not for many years. It's just Amorous and I against the world here. My apologies for assuming. It's just that your home is quite big. It must get lonely. You don't know the half of it. Oh, my dear, you're hurt. Are you all right? Victor gently took my hand, examining the now dry blood from my earlier confrontation with the abrasive Rose. He had concern written across his handsome face. But there was something else about it. Hunger. A desire to finish the work the Rose had started. For a second, it looked like he would do just that. But after a few intense moments of silence, he looked away, still gently holding my hand. Shall we go inside? The snow is really starting to come down, and your poor body must still be recovering from that nasty case of frostbite. Are you hungry, my dear? Because I'm starving. That is one massive table for 2 people. Did you just keep this prepped, Victor? It was dark outside by the time Victor had called me for dinner. The blizzard had started up again, despite taking a break earlier. It was now stronger than ever, its frightening howls intruding upon the chateau's silence. Have we completely forgotten about our original mission then? We're so enraptured with Victor. The dining room was quite large, which was not surprising at this point. The elegant white chairs contrasted well with the raging fireplace, creating a mysterious yet calming aura. It was also way too long for supposedly one person, and I couldn't help but wonder if this place had once been a room full of music, laughter, and happiness. If that'd be true, it was now a shell of its former self. Boy, the blizzard really has a vengeance against the Alps. I hope it dies down again soon. My body is still so sore, but I can't just keep lying around like I'm royalty or something. I have a mission to do. At least Victor doesn't mind me staying here for the time being, and it's so nice of him to make me dinner. I'm starving. Meek, I'm so glad you decided to join me. Take a seat. Dinner is almost ready. Glad I could be here. May I ask what you made? It's an ancient family recipe, passed down from generation to generation. I hope you'll like it. Sounds delicious. I can't wait. Ah! Oh, that is one butchered rabbit. You didn't even remove the tongue. Not to sound ungrateful, but can I have my, roadkill rabbit just a little bit cooked? Mm-hmm. Now, doesn't that smell good? It smells like something. Dead rabbit. My favorite? Oh, my darling. Are you alright? Your face is so green. Oh, don't worry about it. It's just my favorite color. Are you getting sick? Is there anything wrong? What do you think is wrong, Victor? Oh, a knife and fork, of course. How could I forget? I'll be right back. Meow. Your master is quite the eccentric cook. Cats eat dead rodents, right? Want some? Wow. Translation: what do you take me for? Here you go. Knife and fork at your disposal. Thanks. We did say there was a fire in here, right? Maybe we can spit roast the rabbit? So, Meek, I know that it's not any of my business, but I have to ask, why were you so far up the mountain, especially without any companions? You would have been a goner if I hadn't found you out there in the blizzard earlier. I know. It was pretty reckless of me, but I couldn't afford to lose any more time. You see, my journey serves an important purpose. My village burned down a couple of months ago, and I've already lost so much precious time just traveling through the Alps. I'm not sure what got over me in that moment. I was never one to get emotional, even if the moment called for it. I just couldn't stop thinking about them. My family, my friends, everyone I've ever known. The thought of being too late, It made me shed the first tear ever since leaving home. I'm a failure. Look at me, crying like a child. This is so embarrassing. I'm sorry. Victor's eyes immediately darted from his plate to meet my teary eyes. He seemed shocked by my statement, as if it was the biggest lie he ever heard. Cautiously, he moved his chair closer to mine and lightly caressed my hand with his in a soothing manner. That's not true at all. You braved the mountains, probably running into death at every corner and all by yourself, no less, just to save a few people from a small, insignificant village. There are people in this world, no matter how powerful and brave they claim to be, that wouldn't dare doing what you did, especially to help others. I won't have you talk about yourself like that again, and I will not tolerate any more lies. Meek, I think you're the bravest person I have ever met. I appreciate that. But Victor, I'm still not brave enough to eat your rabbit, just so you know. His caresses had long since ceased, and instead, he rested his whole hand on top of mine. The weight of it was comforting, but I was able to sense his intentions. Is he trying to hold my hand? Thank you for answering my question. I'm sure you have some for me too. Go ahead. Ask me anything you'd like. You know what? There is one most important question we need to ask him. I want to know about Amorous. Here's one for a trip down memory lane. You simply must tell me how you were able to snag yourself such a darling like Amorous. Gosh, when was the first time I met that little thing? 6 months ago? A year? I can't imagine living life without her at this point. I do, however, remember the day I found her, as if it was yesterday. It was a cold night like this, and it started showing signs of a dangerous blizzard. I had lived in the Alps for so long that I was able to craft myself a familiar path that I took any time I wanted to take a night stroll. One of the landmarks I often encountered was a river that I crossed over with the aid of stepping stones. However, that night was different to most. As I made my way over the almost frozen river, I kept hearing a soft noise, meowing, but it sounded far from distressed. I indulged my curiosity and looked within the river, trying to find the source of the strange sounds I kept hearing, and that's when I saw her. A sweet black newborn kitten, tied upon in a plastic bag, who still had her eyes closed. She was just the cutest thing. She was meowing so softly, and she was most probably seeking her mother. At the moment, all I saw was red. What kind of monster would abandon such a sweet little thing? Especially when she needed them most. It made me sick to my stomach. But she seemed so content, meowing sweetly and playfully twisting around in the bag. Such misfortune bestowed onto her, yet she was still chooses to sing a tune of happiness. I couldn't just leave her there. I'd be no better than the pathetic excuse of a caretaker her last one was. So I took her home, and by some miracle, she survived. That day, I made the choice to call her my own, and I've never regretted it since. She was all alone, just like me. But now, I won't let anyone hurt her. I love her too much for that. That's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing it with me, Victor. Thank you for listening, my dear. Ah, I like you, Victor. I shall donate you a little bit of blood. You have earned it, you and your double little thangs there. Go on then. Do we ask him about his appearance? Why not? I started pondering what to ask him while his piercing eyes awaited my response. I only noticed how strange his appearance actually was at the very moment. Unnaturally pointy ears, long, elegant nails, sickly pale skin. And what devil did he have to worship to get such flawless hair? Or perhaps he was the devil himself, hiding his sharp, bloody teeth behind his sweet, charming smile. Oh my gosh, of course! It all makes sense now. I had no idea they were even real. Hey, Victor, are you a werewolf? Werewolf? My dear, where did you get such a revolting impression? Oh, I think we've insulted him. I suppose that makes sense. Vampires and werewolves don't traditionally get along very well, do they? You honestly believe I'm one of those uncivilized, mangy, stupid mutts that howl at literally everything all the damn time? I'm more of a cat person anyway. Well then, what are you? If you must know, I'm a vampire, an immortal creature of the night. Oh, honestly, I didn't expect you to be so open about it. Do not fear me. I have no ill intentions towards you. Even if I did, I wouldn't be able to bring any harm to you. You're just too cute for that. I think I understand. So, do you suck people's blood, get shirtless in woods, and climb into the rooms of strangers? You did not just make me read a Twilight reference. God damn it. But if we're going to go that route, do you sparkle? What Twilight nonsense is that? The only thing that is true about that statement is that I do drink blood. However, my kind no longer feels the need to hunt down humans. I'm guessing he's not a fan of Twilight either. We have fast food now. Oh, really? May I ask what your favorite fast food place then? Probably the blood clinic from my old village. They gave me a cookie and a juice box last time. So tasty. That's nice. Go on then, what are your hobbies? Living alone here must get pretty boring. I can't imagine finding much excitement in these mountains. Surely you must have some hobbies or passions that make you forget about the world for a little, right? Victor's eyes suddenly sparkled with a bright twinkle. My inquiry had clearly caused it. Oh, Meek, you have made me a happy man just with your most shallow of interest. Where do I even start? I believe poetry to be the highest form of entertainment, whether it be a dark reflection of the cruel repercussions of war or a simple sonnet of duration. There's something for everyone. Poetry? Of course he'd like poetry. Did you know that the earliest records of written poetry date back at around 2000 BC? It's true. It is believed to have originated from African hunter-gatherers who had a fondness for storytelling and tradition, but their tales only started becoming documented hundreds of years later. And despite what you have been led to believe, Shakespeare was actually more of a poet than a playwright. Isn't that so interesting? I've actually met the guy. He's kind of a jerk. Blah, blah, blah. I think I may have created a monster. I don't feel like losing my ear tonight, just yet. You really know your poems. What would you say is your favorite type of poetry? What a cruel thing to ask. How could you expect me to choose one? But if I had to choose one... To be fair, yeah, I understand. That's kind of like asking me to choose my favorite horror movie or horror game. There's just so many that I adore. The Thing, actually. I'd choose The Thing. John Carpenter's, of course. That or The Mummy. 1999 is the only good Mummy. Most definitely romance. Call me an old soul, but there's more flattering than being serenaded by a gracious lover with words they wrote straight from the heart. I actually have written a few myself. It really helped me understand myself and my feelings better. That's impressive. I'd love to hear one from you sometime. Really? Yeah, it would bring me nothing but joy. That is, unless they were destined for someone else. Were your poems directed at anyone in particular, may I ask? Victor? Did you write them for me? We have got to have some kind of history of the way you keep staring at me. What? Oh, my apologies, my dear. I guess I just blanked out for a moment. That's enough about poetry. Oh, well, I guess that ends my questions. I think that's it for me tonight. Thank you for dinner, I guess. You said my room is right down the hall, right? I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Good night. Good night. And me, thank you for tonight. I mean that. Sweet dreams. I remember falling asleep almost immediately when I climbed in the warm silk sheets of the guest room bed. The woes of the day had become a distant memories of my village, and my frozen body finally gained some semblance of peace. Heaven knows it deserved it after all it had gone through. But in the middle of the night, I awoke to the sound of strong winds against the windows, the blizzard raging on. I couldn't fall back asleep, no matter how hard I tried, and so I decided to get up and walk around the hallways to tire myself out. Perhaps visit Victor's room to see if he too struggled to sleep. I'm positive this is the door to Victor's room. I wonder if the blizzard woke him up too. Some part of me hopes it did. Look at me, acting like some lovesick teenager. I can't afford to waste time fawning over some rich, handsome man when my family could be dead. It's just, I haven't had the pleasure of talking with someone for so long. I guess I saw a part of myself in him. It's quite poetic. Two lost souls who were in the wrong place and the wrong time end up weaving their destinies in the fabric of love. I want to be the object of his love poems. And deep down, I think he wants that too. Jesus Christ, someone needs to remind us we've only just met him. Well, at least from our perspective. I maintain that he knows us. Psst! Victor! Are you awake? Victor! Hello? He's not in here. Strange. He's probably just roaming the hallways like me. I really shouldn't be in here without his permission. I better... Ow! Stone floors do not make for a cushiony landing. I think I just tripped on something. Oh, destroy this, you say? And of course that means we must open it. Destroy this? How ominous. Although I never thought I'd feel any sort of intimidation from a shoebox. I wonder what's inside. Nope, it's none of my business. This is going too far. Although, I'm sure one peek wouldn't hurt, right? Oh, you can't give me a destroy it box and not expect me to open it. I am far too nosy for this. This is generally why I end up getting killed in horror games. I bent down ever so slowly in order to examine the box. It must have been Victor's, considering the destroy this warning was in his handwriting. Oh, and it was in his room, I guess. The box itself was unassuming, but yet its contents were far more than what met my eye. I just wished I realized that before. Is there going to be a head? Is there going to be a head in the box? What's in the box? The box contained 4 key objects. An envelope with a rose crest. A photo of Victor with a mysterious woman. Aww, cute little bear. A hand-stitched teddy bear. A fascinating yet peculiar combination of items. It's a poem. I wonder what it means. the cruel devil of destiny appeared within the lens of my reality. A dutiful man of word he was, unscathed by dereliction. How my flower lost its colour red from his promise, and how my word became bone-tired and weary. He sent many, dozens of mortals with whom they had blue and yellow, claiming to bring prosperity to my destroyed domain. They in return destroyed. Petals to thorns, horns to halos, all the wretched masquerades that could not seduce, or sent to the fiery pits of hell, wrapped in a cloth of red beauty. My fair rose may never grow again, but its thorns will shed. I was never much of a literature whiz. Why do people need to talk in such riddles? This might be a love poem since Victor mentioned it's his favorite form of poetry. That's not a whole lot to go off. I'm not sure that was a love poem. It kind of seemed like a tragedy to me. Who is this woman? A friend of Victor's? Or something more? There's a whole bunch of symbols on the photo's corners. I think it's a black shell-toed butterfly. I remember now. Those specific butterflies represent something. Death. Well, we know what happened to that woman then. Aw, so cute. All I had as a toy growing up was a wooden barrel, and a bad one at that. So many splinters. And look at his rose collar bell. Such a little gentleman. Oh, and there's something attached to him. May your future be blessed with more memories. This key must open a door somewhere here in the chateau. Who knows how long that might take to find? I went snooping, and I'm even more confused than when I started. Oh no, I hear footsteps. I can't let Victor find me in here. He'll throw me out in the blizzard for sure. I got to find a place to hide. There, in the cupboard. I'm sure he's not even going to think to look in here. Escape from your prison one more time. I see. I should have burned you a long time ago. Turn you into a speck of meaningless wood in a merciless fire. But yet you're still here. Because for as dull and habitual as you truly are, thousands of your kind roaming this planet, you are far from meaningless to me. It drives me to insanity, all of it. How can something so nightmarish be my dream? How can my best decision be my worst mistake all at once? My sweet Adeline, why do you hurt me so? Did I do something wrong? Was I not worthy of your love? Why have you bestowed such misfortune on me? Tell me, damn it! Please tell me why you hate me so much, and why I still love you even after all these years. Don't sneeze. Don't sneeze. Damn this cup of dust. Achoo! Well, I think he's gonna find us. No, 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 no! Well, I truly have gone mad, I presume. I found only a few measly seconds of relief when the sound of footsteps echoed once more, coming closer to my hiding spot. Was he aware that he was not alone in the room? I couldn't tell anymore. If he's not aware that he's not alone, he is going to be an absolute idiot. Why else would he expect a sneeze to appear from a cupboard? Maybe he's got boggarts. I felt his soft breathing on the other side of the cupboard door. He was so quiet, it felt unnatural, like a predator lurking for its next meal. It knew the power it held over those weaker than it. And Victor, he knew that. And he reveled in it. I'm no longer that foolish boy that I once was, and I'll never let my mistakes rule my life again. I'll be better than him. I want to make this up to you. Because, my darling, this time will be different. His gazing eyes soon vanished. I heard the heavy footsteps walking further and further away, the absence of his breathing until the door behind him suddenly closed. I cautiously climbed out of the cupboard and awaited for any deception or tricks to catch me red-handed. But it was only the sound of the wind against the windows that filled the room. Okay, now I know something seedy is going on here. I'm already caught up with one problem. I don't need another one. I should get to bed, but maybe I should take one of these items, just in case I feel like sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. If we take the key, does that mean I take no, if I take the teddy bear, does that mean I get the key as well? So I want to know what room that leads to. Let's take the teddy bear. What secrets can a cute little bear hold? A lot more than I bargained for, probably. I slept uneasy for the rest of the night, the feeling of vulnerability clouding every inch of my mind like a terrible headache. The feeling of being watched, and the actions that were to follow afterwards made me wish I had never awoken again. Morning came quicker than I anticipated, but it had a pleasant aura to it. The blizzard had finally retracted its pledge of war on the Alps, and the sun reappeared after being gone for several months. The morning wasn't the only thing sporting a smile and a skip in its step. Victor was sitting down at the dining table across from where I was standing. When he noticed my presence, his face lit up like a fire in a whiteout, and he gestured to me to sit down next to him. Amaris was resting by his feet in a deep slumber. She looked so calm and peaceful, like the world couldn't lay a finger on her even if it tried. I missed that feeling. Good morning, my dear. I hope you had a good night's rest. Dream anything interesting? I can't let him know about the box or the item I took. Who knows what he'll do to me? Not that I can blame him. Don't worry, Meek. Just act normal. Nope, not a thing. Nothing interesting going on here. Why would you think that? You'd be wrong if you thought that, because there is nothing that is interesting. Nailed it. Good to know. I was just about to make breakfast. Would you like me to make you something? No! No, thank you. I'm not that hungry. I was not hungry for a dead, fully intact rabbit last night, and I'm not hungry for a dead, fully intact rabbit today. All right then. Your company enough makes my heart sing with glee. Tell me, my dear, what are your plans today? My hands started to shake, and my mouth suddenly became dry. I was worried to tell him in case he'd have a bad reaction, but I just went for it as soon as he asked. I'm feeling much better. I think my body has recovered from the frostbite. That's wonderful. Yeah, I think it's time I head out and continue my mission over the Alps. Your hospitality has been nothing but amazing. I'd be dead if it weren't for you, so thank you. But it's time to go now. Oh, I don't think he likes that idea very well. He's gone all Terminator on me. Victor's pupils instantly turned a crimson red, a pierced gaze into my soul, replacing his kind eyes. The grip of his mug tightened, and I thought it was about to shatter into a million pieces. How unfortunate. Are you sure you're feeling better? What if the blizzard starts again? We can't have that. Maybe you should stay here a little longer, just to be sure. But Stay for tonight. Join me for dinner one last time, and tomorrow I'll bid you farewell. Please. Okay. Is he gonna place me under his thrall? I'm never leaving here, am I? Sorry, family. Splendid. You've made me a happy man, Meek. I have a few things I must attend to, but I'll see you later. Stay out of trouble, my dear. Before I could mutter any response, he gracefully stood from his chair, with the now awake Amethyst trailing him into the kitchen. Now that he was off doing his own tasks, I thought it'd be my cue to do the same. It was time to find what secrets hid behind a cute bear's face. I mean, the bear still has the key, right? I still can't get over how adorable this little guy is. I'm guessing you don't have a name yet. I'll call you Roosevelt. Get it? Because you've got a rose? I suddenly feel like he's judging me. Oh, he's far too adorable to judge anyone. I was poor growing up, and our village was pretty isolated. What I wouldn't have done to get a toy like this. I would have been the happiest child. Despite my background, it was such a sweet and magical time, one that went by far too quickly. I don't think I'll ever be as happy as I was when the only thing I had to worry about was passing the next school test or making time to play with my friends. Well, I think that's enough regretting an existential crisis for one day. Now, back to you, Roosevelt. He looks hand-stitched, not the type of toy where there are thousands like it produced from the same factory. Did Victor make this? It certainly seems like something he'd do. I wonder if you were made for anyone in particular, a child perhaps. But I haven't seen anyone else since I'd gotten here. Strange. I'm not entirely sure where I have to go from here though. Oh, I think I know. He has a rose on his collar. That must mean the rose garden I saw the other day, right? Ah, it's nice to go outside and get some fresh air. But where should I go from here? This is the rose I pricked myself on earlier. The blood is still on it, dry by now. Focus, Meek. Think. What am I missing? Wow! Amethyst, I thought you were with Victor. What are you doing here? Meow meow. I can't play with you right now, precious. I'm trying to figure out here. Wow. I'll be with you now. Please just sit still for a moment. Amethyst, pipe down a while. Being broken from my intrusive thoughts made me realize what the cat was trying to show me. She was circling a small yet bright rosebed with blood-red flowers within. Devoured by curiosity, I made my way over to the bushes. Could this lead me to the answers to all my questions? I lightly stroked Amos's back as a sign of appreciation for her help and bent down to the level of the rosebed. Whatever I was trying to find was underneath its deceitful decorations. Have I just found a grave? But then I noticed the roses and my blood ran cold. The blood that could sense that it had already made contact with the abominable creations. Thorn roses. I hesitated for a moment, but I knew what I had to do. If I wanted to find the logic, if I wanted to find the light, I had to do it. A second later, I grabbed the roses and pulled them from the ground in order to make my way to the center of the rosebed. Oh, I don't think Victor's gonna be very happy about this. Ow! Ow! The thorns crashed into my icy and thin skin, and I finally realized what true pain felt like. The feeling of helplessness and defeat that scoured every inch of my fragile human body. The sting of tears that filled my eyes and fell down my cheeks. I wanted to stop. I needed to stop. But I couldn't. Not after the idea that I could finally find answers. Find hope. I never got that luxury after the decay of the village. The decay of my mind. Nothing was going to stop me from receiving the fruit of my unappreciated labor. And that was when I saw it. What is that? There's something sticking out of the ground. I must dig it out at once. Something my innocent eyes were never meant to behold. Ah! I told you it was going to be a grave. Is that what I think it is? No, it can't be. Victor, he would never. Was being the charming and romantic poet all a facade? Looks really can be deceiving. Wait, I almost forget. He's a vampire. He'll smell me a mile away if my blood is still exposed like this. I need to clean it up at once and get out of this place as soon as possible. For the remainder of the day, I tried to seize an opportunity to escape, but it was just never the right time. Eventually, night fell, and I had to make my way to the dining room before Victor could unravel my plans. It was a gentle night with light snow, and I knew it would be the perfect weather to run away in. Victor was in the kitchen, probably cooking up another monstrosity, and I sat down at the table patiently waiting for him. After a moment or two, he walked out and saw me. His eyes lit up as though he hadn't seen me in years, and he excitedly sat down next to me, a little too close for comfort. Meek, I'm so happy to see you. I hope you had a restful day. It was a day, that's for sure. I've also been quite busy today, so much so that I haven't gotten to ask you something. Were you in my room at any point of the day? What? Why are you asking? It's alright if you did. This place is much of yours that is mine. I just seem to have misplaced one of my poems, and I was wondering if you've maybe seen it lying around somewhere. I wasn't sure if he was onto me or completely oblivious to the situation. Either way, I knew I had to come clean. Actually, Victor, I was the one who took it. I'm sorry. I should have asked, but it was just such a nice poem that I wanted to read it over and over again. Really? You liked it? Well, that's good to hear. I'm flattered. Thank you, my dear. You're welcome, I guess. I wanted to ask, though. The poem was putting emphasis on the rosebed in the garden, and I found some skeletons. Huh. I wasn't expecting us to bring this up. I wouldn't assume they're real, of course. That would be preposterous. I was just wondering if they were Halloween decorations, or maybe even... Nope, they're real. Oh. So... Why do you have real skeletons in your garden? They make for a good fertilizer. I'm kidding. They're nobodies. Just some random people that seek refuge from blizzards, that's all. Kidding? Nope. No, he is not. I guess not. Oh, I see the problem. Don't worry, my dear. I would never harm you in 100 years. And I am 100. You're nothing like them. They were posers. Fakes. They take one look at a handsome stranger and want to bet him. Like I'd ever want to do that with them. Have they no shame? There's only one person I would ever let touch my heart and my body. And they're right beside me. Huh? Me. We've only known each other for a few days, but I already feel like we were meant for each other. Maybe he really does think we're a reincarnation of his love or something. Either that, or he's just an obsessive guy. Every dream, every fantasy, every morning and every night, I want you there with me. I love you. I want to make you happy, to be the reason for your smiles, your love and your pleasure. I want to spend the rest of eternity with you, my darling. Please, bless me with your marvelous voice and tell me your answer. You know what? I do tend to flirt with monsters quite a lot, and I don't think I've ever actually accepted a confession from a vampire before. You know what? You're slightly insane, and I love that way about you. I'll accept your confession. Sure. Really? Oh, thank you, thank you. You have no idea what this means to me. I'm going to give you the best life. Just you wait. You know what? This calls for celebration. I'll make deer for dinner tonight. Okay, that's my one stipulation. You're gonna have to start cooking this meat, sir. Please don't. With his large grin that showed off his deadly fangs, he threw himself onto me and pulled me into a tight but loving embrace. His breath was warm against my neck, and all tension faded. My Aveline, our dream can finally be fulfilled. I told you he thought I was his lost love. We'll never be alone ever again. Ending 3. Love's Limit. I get the feeling if we reject his confession, he's not gonna let us leave peacefully, is he? Are you serious right now? I would never be with you. Victor's eyes grew larger, and he moved away from me, ever so slightly. I had never seen a man more shattered than a fallen icicle. What? You murdered innocent people, and for the most foolish reason, too. I would be ashamed to be with someone that cruel and that stupid. No, don't you see, my dear? Those people were standing in the way of you being my arms again. I had to get rid of them. I would kill anything and anyone for you, because I love you. I did this all for us. There is no us. I barely even know you. I don't understand why you're doing this. After everything I've done for us, to be together again, why are you pushing me away? Why wouldn't you just let me love you, Aveline? You're insane. I'm getting my stuff, and then I'm leaving, and just leave me alone. In that moment, I was just fire and rage bound by flesh. Never had I been so furious, heartbroken, and terrified all at once. And right as I was about to storm out of the room, I took a peek at Victor's distraught face. It was painted with pure agony, as if he was about to drop dead. But there was something else, something inhumane and animalistic. Who knew what dark thoughts were running around in his head? And unfortunately, I would soon find out. I gathered everything I could find that was mine, and threw it all in my trusty bag. I considered jumping out of the window and risking the long fall down to the ground, but I knew even snow couldn't prevent me from snapping my body in two like a twig. Besides, I still wanted to bid Victor farewell. Despite finding out who he really was, he still helped me recover from my frostbite wounds and offered me a warm place to stay. It was the least I could do. And it's going to be our downfall. We are definitely about to get murdered. Victor? Victor, are you here? Hello? Where is he? I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't want to talk to me. Well, if I can't say goodbye to him, then at least I can say goodbye to Amaris. Amaris! Hey, kitty kitty! Psst, psst, ask Amaris! Amaris! Amma! No! No, Amaris! You did not murder the cat! God damn it, Victor! Amaris, or what was left of her, laid on the stone floor. Her body was covered in cold blood that stood bright against her dark coat. Her eyes were glassy and open, and for the very first time ever, she looked scared, betrayed, heartbroken. All of her welcoming meows and friendly nuzzles were replaced by dark silence. Fate had played wicked irony on her, a creature who started its life with shut eyes and happy smiles, ended in frightened scowls and dead eyes. Amaris, Please tell me you're okay. Please? No! Oh, I'm quite afraid Amos is definitely dead. Why? Who could have done this to you? There's no use crying over spilt milk, darling. Well, spilt blood in this instance. Victor, how could you? How could you do this to her? She loved you. All she ever wanted was a home, a family. What could she have possibly done to deserve this? Victor's mocking smile faded, and it was replaced with an intense gaze. It took him a moment, but he eventually answered the question with spine-chilling apathy. She was a waste of space, a temporary solution to an otherwise permanent problem. She wanted a family, but so did I. The arrangement was one that benefited both of us. But now, I no longer have use for her. Now that I have you, didn't you hear me the first time? I would kill anything for you, my beloved. The unholy beast before me stalked towards me, the knife in his hand catching my attention, covered with Amos's blood. He wasn't going to kill me. I knew that, and so did he. But I couldn't let him get away with this. The only thing to stop him from getting what he wants is to destroy what he wants. And that was me. As soon as he was in appropriate proximity, I grabbed his wrist and twisted it, which forced a yelp of pain from him, and he dropped the knife. There was no time to spare. I grabbed the knife and brought it to my neck, and I can't remember. All I saw in my last breath was a river of crimson spouting from my neck, and Victor losing all what was left of his sanity, yelling out at me to stop. Maybe, in another life, things would have worked out differently. Maybe we could have been a remarkable love story. One only like the ones in fairy tales. Sharing dinner with friends and family, having Amaris lie at our feet as we sat beside the calming fire, and spending an eternity on lovely simpleness. But not in this one. Fate decided it so. Ending 4. Fate's Falls. God damn it, Victor! I wasn't expecting you to kill the cat! Okay, so taking the poem has the same options as taking the teddy bear, but taking the photo seems to change things. I went off, trying to find the answers to that strange woman in the photo. I spent most of the morning exploring the endless hallways of the intricate chateau. By noon, I was feeling sour and impatient for my failure to find logic in a sea of confusion. I'm never going to find anything in this huge place. Why do rich people have to purposely make everything so complicated? There must be clues in this picture that can lead me to something. I'll take anything at this point. I guess there's the butterfly, but I've scoured the walls for any butterfly art pieces and have come up short. Victor is a poetic man, however. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at it as a butterfly. I should be looking at it for its representation. Alright, let's see. This butterfly is a black swallowtail. It's unique to others of its kind for having striking dark wings. They are often believed to be a sign of death, so I think our mystery lady here is no longer a subject of life's kingdom. Despite this, they are often believed to also be a sign of new beginnings, the beginning of a life sprouting from the end of another. That must help me, right? As I wallowed in my shallow assumptions and head-splitting thinking, I looked up to find a tall, beautiful rose in a large grey pot standing opposite to me. It was surrounded by shriveled up rose petals, who I assumed once flourished like the one before me, red and beautiful once, now grey and gone. Wait, that's it! Death and life are represented by the black swallowtail. Those flowers have something to do with the meaning of the photo. I'm sure of it. There must be something behind that then. To my delight, my thoughts were proven correct. Behind the large pot was an unassuming door that was designed to look like the walls, a thin golden knob piercing from the dark walls. With a steady hand and a heartbeat louder than thunder, I gently turned the knob and forced the door open. A long dark hallway stood before me, and I started walking down it. Always with the hallways. I can barely see anything. I should be used to blindly stumbling around by now, though. As I made my way through the hallway, I spotted a faint light ahead in the distance. It was a bright and welcoming to the time in dark, but I knew to be wary. Who knew what laid ahead of me? Ah, another grave it seems. I'm guessing this is Aveline, right? Eventually, I reached a small room adorned with stone walls and floor. There were no windows, only stuffy air and darkly lit candles. There was only one item in the room, a stone coffin with a butterfly motif. I knew I needed answers, but the thought of potentially seeing a dead body made my blood run cold. But as I swung the coffin door open, expecting to find the corpse of the woman in the photo, all could before me were a few abandoned spiderwebs. What? I don't understand. Isn't this the room the photo leads to? Aren't you just a curious one? Ah! I never fancied you the detective type, my dear. Very impressive. I see you found Aveline's tomb. I actually built this place just for her, with my own two hands. I wanted us to be able to rest for eternity in here together. But she wanted to be buried in the grounds. A kindred spirit she was. Aveline. The woman in the photo, darling. A fair beauty, isn't she? Just like you. I'm sick of you speaking in riddles, Victor. Tell me what's going on right now. I'll answer that concern, but let me first tell you a story. I just said! Hush, sweetheart. We'll get to that in a moment. Once upon a time, in a quiet French village at the far edge of the Alps, lived a young boy. The boy was remarkable, and he did remarkable things. He could sense the heartbeat of a wolf miles away to help men with their hunts. He was fast, agile, and strong as can be, being able to lift things twice his own weight, a great help to farmers. He was even handsome and charming, winning the hearts of anyone who laid their eyes on him. His life was that of perfection. But no matter what he did, no matter how many people he knew, he was all alone. No one to come home to after a long, stressful day. No one to enjoy a pleasant dinner with, and no one to hold at night when he got too cold. The only problem his supernatural abilities couldn't fix was the one that ruined everything. But then, he met a girl. A sweet and wonderful girl. A girl like no other. My Aveline. My heart. My shining star in a pitiless sky of darkness. They made a home for themselves, the dream of starting a family so that they could never be alone again. His life will finally be perfect. But then, that girl, that sweet and wonderful girl, she was no more. And that was the beginning of the end of everything. But now she's back, and I won't let the world ever take her away from me ever again. Oh, my sweet Aveline, it's been so many years, but you'll finally return to me. What? I know who you are. I knew it the moment I saw you out in the blizzard that fateful day. You're my beloved Aveline, reincarnated. It's the only reason to explain why you look so much like her. It was all meant to be. I'm sorry, Victor, but I'm not her. Unless she somehow lived longer than you expected and long enough to have a child. Wouldn't it just be weird if I was actually her, granddaughter or something? I'm Meek. No, you are Aveline in a new form. I know it was with my every fibre of my being. Fate has brought you back to me. Oh, my darling, I've missed you so much. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you again. I flinched at his attempt for a hug and backed away slowly, although I could see the painful expression across his face. I couldn't help but feel anger at his words. You're delusional. I've already told you I'm not that sweet and wonderful girl from your little story. I'll never be that girl. Abeline is gone forever. You have to accept that. I'm sorry. Victor? Victor, are you going to imprison me in the coffin? If you can't remember, then I guess I'll just have to make you remember. Victor suddenly lunged at me, with his fangs bared. Fear, anger, depression, and more were contorted together on his face. Perhaps it was because I was already on edge, but I was somehow able to dodge out of the way in time, and I raced down the hallway I entered through without a single acknowledgement of the fact that I couldn't see anything. What do? I have got to get out of here. Which way should I go? Damn it, they all look the same. What am I going to do? What am I going to... Ouch! I rammed my hip into an unexpected decorative table, and the tall burning candle that had stood on it fell onto the ground with a sudden crash. Have I just set fire to this entire shadow? It caressed the nearby carpet for only a second before it started burning alight. The fire started getting out of hand, and it spread fast throughout the hallway. It was only a matter of time before I became one with the flames. Before I could react to it by either running away or deciding to stop the fire myself, I suddenly felt a strong grip on my neck, yanking me forward. Victor, what are you? Shut up! You think I wanted this? To have you come to me by force? To have the one I love fear the very mention of my name? I've been alone for so long. I never thought my heart could beat again. Even if you're not Aveline, even if you'll never be her, I still can't help but picture a future with you. One where this sad empty house could be filled with music, laughter, and love once again. Buddy, have you not noticed the fact that your house is on fire? It can burn down for all I care. Burn down with all my belongings of priceless paintings and expensive luxuries. But as long as I have you, I'll never have to wonder if my heart is still beating. I love you, Meek. I want you to be happy, I truly do. And the only way to do that is to allow you to see Aveline. I'm gonna murder a vampire, aren't I? So, why don't you do me a favor and say hi to her from me? What do you mean? Hey, what are you? Ah! I released Victor's now softened grip on my neck and kicked him backwards into the raging fire before us. His shrill screams and anguish filled the silent hallways, until eventually they became silent once more. The once powerful man, with a charming smile and kind eyes, now laid before me a measly pile of ash and remnants of burned flesh. Rest in peace, Victor. I mean that. I finally found the exit of the burning chateau and walked outside what felt like the first time in weeks. The cold yet refreshing wind blew into my face, and I inhaled the fresh air until I heard the familiar sounds of a friend. Oh, thank God! I got worried about you, Maris. Ow! Amethyst! Thank goodness you're unharmed. It's not safe here anymore. We should get going before the blizzard starts up again.
Meow.
I'm sorry, Amethyst, but Victor won't be joining us. Don't worry. He murders you in one of these endings. I wouldn't worry about him. Let's go. Amethyst, come on. You're not seriously going to stay here. There's nothing left for you here. We have to go, now. Oh, you stubborn little kitten. If that's what you want, I can't stop you. Be good for me, precious.
Meow.
With a final pet to her head, I started making my way over the fierce Alps to find help for my village. I travelled further and further away from the burning remains of the chateau, until the only part that could be seen was in my memories. Oh, that's the true ending! Well, at least Amethyst lives in this one. So apparently, not asking Victor questions and bonding with him on that first night changes our ending. How could I be so foolish? Nothing good ever comes from meeting a stranger out in the middle of nowhere. I need to get out of here before I'm next. Ah, it seems we're too late. After what felt like hours worth of slumber, I slowly opened my eyes. My head was screaming with anguish, as if it had been hit over with something heavy and wooden. A swing any harder, and I would have been a goner. After my initial apathetic reaction, I suddenly realized that I couldn't move my limbs. There was no denying it. I was strapped to a bed of some sort. Even to this day, I wished that swing to the head did in fact end my miserable existence, right then and there. But life doesn't always give us the things we want the most. Hey! Where am I? Help! Somebody please help me! Please! Please! Help me! Well, someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Sorry, I had to make that joke. You... What do you want from me? Don't struggle. Shh. It's okay. My dear, do not cry those bitter tears. It breaks my heart to see you like this. Don't be afraid. You're safe here. Don't come any closer. Let me go right now. I'm afraid I can't do that. Not yet, at least. Look at you, my sweet Meek. Your heart. There are splinters, scars, and gashes all over your perfect body. You don't have to worry though. I'm here to take care of you, like I was always meant to. Hey, what are you? Victor knelt beside my chamber of straps and bondage and gently kissed me, his one fang teasing my bottom lip. When I tried to move, he grabbed my shoulders and pushed me back down, and I was dragged to be completely under him. Only after a few minutes did he finally lift his face away from mine. I'll never let anything or anyone ever hurt you again. I may never be the man you deserve, but I will try. Are you going to keep me as your honorary blood bag? My darling, my wonderful perfect Meek, I'll never let you go again. That's a promise. Ah, well, at least we'll be together forever. The time has come. We must not open the box this time. But I really want to. Don't do it. Wait, do I not get a choice? Oh. Well, I've got no choice but to open the box. God damn it! It seems then that our only other choice to find the other endings would be to not follow the kitten. Keep exploring. No, I'm sure I'm overthinking it. I should leave the little kitten be.
Meow.
With a final pat to the cat's head, I made my way further down the enormous never-ending hallway. The darkness engulfed everything in its wake, and I immediately started regretting my earlier decision. my nerves and senses flooded with uncertainty. I was only when I suddenly bumped into something large and hard that my mind returned from its dreamy journey. I examined the strange object before me, noticing its woody texture. I realized that it was a door. After a few moments, my eyes finally adjusted to my dark environment, and I was able to see more of the door than before. Oh, I'm guessing this is where the key was to. The key I don't currently have. It had a certain authority to it, with its tall stature and handles reminiscent of bright red roses. It was clear that this door led to an important room, and yet, despite its extravagant design, it was tucked away in the far corners of the chateau. This room didn't want to be entered. I pressed as hard as I could against the door, attempting and failing clumsily to open it. Not even the slightest of movement. Locked. Why am I even doing this? I have no business literally prying into others' lives. Some guessed I am. I should return to the fire and await my savior there. Ah! For a brief second, my eyes shut with shock. I walked into something once again. Another door, perhaps? But instead of feeling the aching sensation of a splinter hazard or frozen limbs that I had gotten used to feeling, all I felt in that moment was a tender embrace. So I'm still banking on taking the bear means we take the key. Wait, I recognize that rose on his ribbon. It's the handles of that mysterious door I saw on the first day I was here. It has to mean something, right? Well, there's only one way to find out. It took me the majority of the day to find the door again, with all of the tricks and dead ends of the endless hallways, but I was eventually able to spot the extravagant door handles. The door was now more visible in the sunlight that peeked through the windows, and I was able to truly appreciate its details. How the black decorations on the wooden door created a stunning environment of leaves and branches, like a forgotten garden, and how the stone walls surrounding the door carved an elaborate entrance, making sure that it was gazed upon. And of course, its rosy red handles that perfectly matched the one on my rosebout. For a moment, I wasn't sure what to do. The door was still locked to my knowledge, and I knew it would take ages to break the lock. But then, that was when I suddenly remembered what else I found in Victor's room. I still don't know who this note is addressed to, and if Victor had to put in so much effort into this toy, why was he so ashamed of showing it off to me? He doesn't seem like the type of person who would shy away from a little bragging. Unless it represented something he didn't want to brag about. Something that brought up too many memories. Bad memories. Well, now I feel bad. I've already broken so many boundaries. There's no turning back now. With a slight turn of the key and a few moments of prying, the heavy door I opened. I stepped inside the room. It was so dark, I could barely see what was in front of me, and there was a foul stench that travelled around the room. Dust and dirt accompanied the aroma in the air, and I coughed violently. Whatever this room held, it was evident that it hadn't been visited in years. Where's the light? There has got to be something somewhere that will help me see better. Ah, I think I see a chandelier. I'll find a candle and set it alight. Oh, well, he did mention him and Aveline planning on having kids, didn't he? After a few minutes of finding a source of light, the room slowly but surely became more visible until I could see it as clear as day. It was a baby's room. There were no denying that. But it wasn't just any old baby room. This one was painted with a bright cherry golden aura that matched elegantly with the furniture. There were toys everywhere, ranging from soft stuffed animals to wooden cabbages and ducks. On either side of the room stood a grand crib laced with comfortable mattresses and warm blankets. Despite the spiderwebs and dust that invaded every corner of the room still looked somewhat brand new, like it's been frozen in time, waiting to fulfill its purpose. What a gorgeous infant room! One fit for royalty! But why would Victor have it in the first place? I haven't seen anyone else since I first arrived here. Impressive. I designed it myself. I jumped at the sound of another's voice. In the quiet room, Victor stood by the entrance of the room, a smug smile on his face. There was a certain excitement in his eyes, as if he had been waiting for this moment for centuries. Victor, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to invade your private space. I just... Darling, calm down. I'm not mad. Far from it, actually. Someone should be making use of this room anyway. Heaven knows I haven't. The children, where are they? Simple. They never came. The man started making his way in my direction, but he walked right past me and grabbed lightly on one of the cribs. All earlier thrill in his face was gone. He still retained a smile, but there was something off about it, like he was wearing a mask. The idea of it used to puzzle me. What idea? Children. Starting a family. The kind of thing everyone in my old village would do when they became of age. They would find a special someone, find a cozy home on the prairie, have a bunch of kids and then grow old together. But I never thought that it could be me. I didn't grow up with a family. I was pretty much alone for most of my life. And I could do all of these amazing things. I was fast, strong, clever, and handsome. Everyone in my village adored me for it. They looked up to me. I even found a wonderful woman to call my true love. She would have helped me complete that dream. We would have been so happy together. We planned our future together, as if fate told us. We created this room together. I made all these toys too. I finally found out what all the fuss was about. I wanted children more than anything. Dozens if I could. And I would have loved each and every single one of them. I would have moved mountains and traveled to the house and back just to see them smile. Finally, the family I had longed for so long would finally arrive. I was ready. I was prepared. I was so proud of calling myself a father. But Adeline, my dear Adeline, she got sick and that was it. She never even got to see the room in all its final glory. I was going to give her that teddy bear in your head, present her with a key, and show her this place. But I was too late, and now it's just another empty room sitting inside this empty house within my empty life. Victor, I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry. Here, cuddle with Roosevelt. He'll make you feel better. Who? The teddy bear you were talking about. I named him Roosevelt. I hope that's okay. Victor stared at me with his teary eyes, stunned. He was quiet for a long time, and I was starting to worry that I had said or done something wrong. But eventually, he smiled at me, as if he was proud of me, as if I had confirmed something in his mind, and he was happy with the results. He reached out his hand, and I expected him to take the bear from me, but instead, he yanked me on my wrist and pulled me into a deep kiss. He wrapped his arms around my body and pulled me closer and closer to him, as if he never wanted to let me go. His kisses were passionate and patient, like I'd expect from a romantic poet. His hand slid down to my hips aggressively and he started getting a little too excited for my comfort. I pushed him back, releasing the embrace of our lips. Victor, what do you think you're doing? You don't just kiss someone without asking first. I'm sorry, my dear. I don't know what got over me. You just reminded me so much of her. Of Adeline. I understand, but I think you're feeling a little sorry for yourself and just threw yourself at the nearest person. I don't want to take advantage of you. I think I need to go. It's about time I continue my journey over the Alps. Fear struck Victor's face, and he grabbed my wrist again. This time, not pulling me into another kiss, even if it looked like he really wanted to. Please forgive me for making you uncomfortable, Meek, but you can't leave. What if you're still recovering from frostbite? It's not safe out there. Why don't you just stay here with me? We obviously enjoy each other's company, and I'm sure Amethyst would love to have someone else to play with. I can't, Victor. I need to find help for my village. My people are waiting for me back home. Screw them! Who in their right mind would send someone as wonderful as you on a perilous mission when they aren't likely to return home alive? You're disposable to them, but not to me. I can treat you better than they ever could. No longer will you have to live a hard life traveling over these unforgiving mountains for a village that never cared about you, not while I'm around. But my family! We'll start a new family. Just imagine it. Little ones running around these empty hallways, reading and cuddling with them every night, sitting by the fire while we watch them play with Amethyst. It'll be a dream come true. Don't you think so too? Please, my darling, grant me this wish and tell me you feel the same. I do feel bad. You know what? Sure, I feel the same. Victor, I feel the same. You do? Yeah. I want to help you fulfill the dream you never could before. In some strange way. I want that too. Victor swept me up into a tight hug. I could feel a few of his tears run down my neck, but he remained silent in our embrace. Let's face it, I'm not cut out for cold weather and blizzards. It's probably better I just stay here. Thank you, was all he whispered in that moment. After a little while, he kissed me once again, and his hands were placed back onto my hips. He gave me a seductive look, hunger in his eyes, and pushed me to the floor with him on top of me. Victor, not in the baby's room, god damn you! I love you, my dear Meek. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I want to make a baby with you. Right now. God damn, you horny vampire! But we found ending too. Picture perfect peace. Let's go reject him. You know what, Victor? You get a timeout. We don't get horny in a baby's room. I don't feel the same. No, Victor, I don't. I have to go. I'm sorry. Meek, wait! I ran out of that house as fast as I could. I couldn't bear any more sweet talk or soulful begs from Victor any longer. It was all just such a blur. All I remember was grabbing my bag and heading out the main door, which I was somehow able to remember. I didn't even bid Amethyst farewell with a final pet to the head. As I ran out the house, I trudged in the snow, forcing my way into the woods. I turned back for a split second. Victor's eyes locked onto mine. He only stood by the door, an unreadable expression on his face, Amethyst curling around his leg with a content smile. Was he angry? Devastated? I wouldn't know from his blank face, but his eyes, they always give something within him away, and I didn't want to stick around long enough to see what they meant. After many more months of traveling, I was eventually able to contact the nearest village and return home. I was thrilled to see all my loved ones after all that time, and life soon returned to normal. However, every night, before I go to sleep, I feel a presence, as if someone is watching me, stalking my every movement. I told others, but they just shrugged it off for me being paranoid about traveling alone over the Alps. But I knew who it was, and every night I felt that I would be snatched up and taken away once again from my village, forever remaining in the clutches of a lover who couldn't let me go. Would that be such a bad thing? I mean, yes, he's a little bit obsessive, but he's got a cute cat. And at least in this ending, we've ensured our village would be okay. But we now have an unwanted savior. You know what? I still can't believe he killed the cat. God damn it, Victor. I feel no remorse about burning you. If you enjoyed your time here, I'd really appreciate you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. But other than that, it was a spooky day, and I'll catch you next time, guys.